Just want to take a second and thank parents for sharing your wonderful students with us. And we've had a great time. I'm a big believer that the journey is more important than the destination. And it's been a wonderful journey. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tonight. But we've gotten to celebrate Warm and Cheery Centerville. And we hope this is a bright spot in your day. And as I say all the time, it's an honor to be your child's music teacher. I'm going to turn things over now to the third grade and opening narrators, Vivian and company. Come on down.
Hello and welcome. We are the 2025 third grade class of Cline Elementary and hope you enjoy our performance. Thank you, parents, for your love and support.
This program would not have been possible without the help of our third grade teachers. They include Miss Flowdy, Mrs. Cutright, Miss Rogers, Mrs. McGuire, Mrs. Venetis, and Mrs. McGowan. We would also like to thank our integrated art teachers, Mr. Sosta, Mr. Bailey, Mrs. Nelson, and Mrs. Boki.
We would like to present our school song, Cline Kids Care, written by Debbie DeVobis in 1996. It talks about our wonderful students and what is important at Cline. Feel free to sing along if you would like.
Welcome to our production of Remember When, a look at historical Centerville. This musical celebrates warm and cheery Centerville and our amazing amazing town history.
The play was written by our music teacher, Mr. Byrne, and songs with various composers, including retired Cline teacher, Mrs. Swillinger.
Kindly silence all cell phones. Sit back, relax, and enjoy performance. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning, boys and girls. We have a lot to cover today. Since Memorial Day is just around the corner, let's sing a patriotic song. I think you know this one.
Never a buzz or
take out your planners. Oh, I think you're going to like this project. Yes, Benjamin?
Can I go to the bathroom?
We just got here.
Singing always makes me have to go.
Can you wait 2 minutes for me to explain this project?
I guess so.
Thank you so much. Well, class, raise your hand if you like interviewing people. Good. Raise your hand if you like learning about the past. Great. Then you are going to enjoy this assignment. I would like to interview an adult and ask them the following question. What was it like to be a third grader when you were a student? This assignment is due May 21st. When we are done, I would like to compare our answers, and I'll know you'll enjoy this.
Yeah. Can I go to the bathroom? Oh, wait, no. Now, can I go to the bathroom now?
Yes, Benjamin. So, what are some good questions we can ask to learn from our past generations? Yes, Martha?
We could ask what kind of chores they did or what people ate for dinner. I wonder if they ate fast food.
Good. Yes, Joseph?
We could ask what kind of games or sports they played. I heard my uncle played Army football at West Point. I've always wanted to ask him about it.
Yes, Aaron?
Maybe we can ask what kind of music was popular, what kind of songs they sang in music class.
Great idea. Yes, Andy?
We can ask about our family tree or where our ancestors came from. We could even make a family tree.
Good thinking. Yes, Mary?
We can ask about our homework, tests, and what school was like.
That would be a great question, Mary. Okay, it seems like we all understand our assignment. Any questions?
What are we supposed to do?
Benjamin, let me explain it with a song. Let's take a look back and we will see we're all a part of history. In each and every century, we're all in the human family. Times are changing and we will see ways to make a better me. This is why we study history, to learn from the past, and we will see how can we change the world. How can we change the world? How can we change the world for the better? How can we change the world for the better? Let's take a look back and we will see we're all a part of history. In each and every century, we're all in the human family. Times will change and we will see ways to make a better me. This is why we study history, to learn from the past, and we will see how can we change the world. How can we change the world? How can we change the world? How can we change the world for the better? Look and you will surely find times have changed, but history rhymes. Ask your grandpa, ask your dad about the best times that they ever had. What did they do after school? Did they go to the swimming pool? Be sure to ask them when you're done. The same question for everyone. How can we change the world? How can we change the world? How can we change the world? How can we change the world for the better? So we can ask anything that will help us understand what the world was like when our parents were kids?
Yes, but you can also ask other people other than your parents who has an idea of who they want to ask. Yes, James?
I'm going to ask my uncle what it was like growing up in the 1960s.
That was a fascinating decade. Sarah, who are you going to interview?
I think I'll ask my grandma what school was like in the 1950s.
Good thinking. To help us understand more about the past, we'll be taking a field trip to Walton House and Asheville Wright House museums next week. Does anyone know anything about Asheville Wright House? Sam?
That's Centerville, Washington history place, next to Grader's Ice Cream. My dad took me there last summer, and I went to their summer workshop and got to see what school was like in the 1800s.
Sue? Yes?
I've been there too. They have lots of cool artifacts and an old school bell out front. Asheville Wright was related to Orville and Wilbur Wright, who invented the airplane.
That's right. Get it? Moving right along. Let's review our math quizzes to get ready for our math quiz on Friday. 7 times 2 is? 14. 7 times 3 is? 21.
The next day, Benjamin's grandmother took him to Stubbs Park. Some of his friends came along and had questions about their assignments.
They wondered what life was like when she was in 3rd grade. What did they do for fun? They didn't even have the internet.
Thanks for taking us to the park, Grandma. You're welcome. I'd rather be outside than cooped up inside anyways, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Hey, what did you do after school when you were in 3rd grade?
Oh, we always went outside and played, unless it was raining. We also listened to music on the radio. He's a big hit from the 60s.
You didn't watch TikTok, YouTube, or play video games?
We didn't know what those stuff were back then. We entertained ourselves.
So what did you do when it rained?
We played board games, cards, or just sat around and talked.
Man, that sounds boring. I'm not trying to be rude.
No, I think screens are great, but in moderation.
What does that mean?
That just means you can get too much of a good thing. Like YouTube, TikTok, and screens are great, no, but there's more to life. You know, Grandma, I wish I was as popular as some of the YouTubers and TikTok creators I follow. Most of them have millions of followers.
That doesn't matter. Being popular on social media is real friends. Real friends are people who like you for who you are, no matter what.
Yeah, Benjamin, playing after school with you is one of my most favorite things to do. You're way more fun than any game on my phone.
You have a good point. I always do better when I try new things and explore, even though it can be hard.
By meeting new people and trying new things, we can find something we love, whether it's playing football, singing in a chorus, or creating art in a makerspace. That's a good thing.
Let's meet each other, find out who we are. No matter where you come from, you're a superstar. Who's in your family? What do you like to do? When we work together, there's nothing we can't do. It doesn't matter where you come from, together we can go far. I'm just a person, but together we're all a superstar. I want to change the world, help us get along. So we'll all stop fighting and make the world a song. I want to sing and play with everyone I meet. Learn from each other, we don't have to compete. It doesn't matter where you come from, together we can go far. I'm just one person, but together we're all a superstar. Where you come from, together we can go far. I'm just one person, but together we're all a superstar.
Benjamin and his friends learned lots of lessons that day. They wondered how life would be like without computers, cell phones, or video games.
Maybe, just maybe, Grandma's right. Maybe trying new things isn't such a bad idea.
When she was a kid, she had no TV. She listened to the radio. She went out and played, got carried away. She didn't have your video games. She read books for fun. When the day was done, she went out and played after school. Once upon a time, she had fun all the time, and it didn't cost a single dime. She didn't have the internet, and when the weather was too wet, she stayed inside and played some games. Without cable TV, with CBS and NBC, she found things to do anyway. Now modern day kids have the best of both worlds. We have some tough choices to make. What this all is to me, the best things in life are free, and they don't cost a single dime.
What this all is to me, the best things in life are free, and they don't cost a single dime.
Good morning, class. This morning we will be learning a little bit about Centerville history. Does anyone know who named our town Centerville? Martha?
His name was Benjamin Robbins. He was a farmer from New Jersey.
Very good. Does anyone know why he left New Jersey? Joseph?
My dad said he left New Jersey because he didn't like Bruce Springsteen. There were too many toll booths, and traffic from Manhattan is a nightmare.
Not exactly. Benjamin Robbins was looking for better land and better life for his family. Ohio wasn't even a state yet. Does anyone know what year Ohio became a state? Aaron?
In 1803, the same year as the Louisiana Purchase. That was a big year for Thomas Jefferson, our third president.
Wow, maybe you should be teaching this class. Well, what do we know about Benjamin Robbins? Well, that brings us to today's lesson. Let me tell you a story.
Stand right back and you'll hear a tale of how our town began. It started with 3 families who were from New Jersey. We're from New Jersey.
They came from the east a long time ago. Their first stop was Kentucky, but they still wanted more.
They still wanted more. Then Robin's home is still here on Route 48. He worked hard on his farm to make our city great. To make our city great.
Erna did a lot of things like lay our first sidewalk. He was a local leader and a veteran too.
A veteran too.
Another friend was Ben Archer, who was a judge in Philly. When he came to Centerville, he ran our first store.
He ran our first store.
One of their friends was John Hull, who served in the Revolution. John Hull was our first doctor in Montgomery County.
In Montgomery County.
St. Robbins was the first mayor of our community. He persevered and gave his all for friends and family. For friends and family.
This is the end of our song. We hope you learned something. We sing this song to celebrate our local history. Our local history.
What did you learn from that song? Andy?
Ben Robbins was a very hard worker who named us Centerville after his hometown in New Jersey.
Yes, Mary?
He was friends with Aaron Nutt and married to Aaron's sister Bathsheba, and his son Sam was our first mayor.
I know something about Centerville that isn't in that song.
Oh, really? What's that?
That Centerville rocks. Centerville is famous for our collection of early stone homes made of limestone. At one time, there were over 100 stone homes in Centerville. About 25 remain.
You don't say.
While digging in a garden, Nutt found rocks and limestone was its name. Oh,
L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. And limestone was its name. Oh.
it built lots of roads and many homes, and limestone was its name. Oh,
L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. And limestone was its name. Oh.
lots of men had jobs digging up that rock, and limestone was its name. Oh,
L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. And limestone was its name. Oh.
Centerville grew because of that rock, and limestone was its name. Oh,
L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. L-I-M-E stone. And limestone was its name. Oh.
Sadie. I'm very proud of all you have learned. Tomorrow, we will be taking a field trip to Walton House and Asheville Wright House to learn even more about our town's amazing history.
The students were very excited for their field trip.
Centerville has such rich and amazing history. They wondered about us, they learned about Centerville and the early settlers of our town.
Welcome to the Walton House Museum. This was the home of Miriam and William Walton, and it was donated to Centerville, Washington history in 1971. Who would like to share one of my fact cards?
The last person to live in this house was Miriam Mary Prince Walton. Her husband was William Walton, who owned a shop in the Arcade Mall in downtown Dayton. In 1913, a great flood ruined much of their downtown, and his shop was destroyed.
As you can see, in this house, we have 2 fireplaces. One would have been used for heat, other used for cooking. Yes, you have a question, young man.
Is this the oldest house in Centerville?
Believe it or not, this is not the oldest stone house in Centerville. In a little bit, we will take a walk down to the Ashel Wright house, which is in fact the oldest stone house in Centerville. Ashel Wright was the great uncle of the Wright brothers. Upstairs is the attic, which is the children's quarters. Notice the winding stairs that lead to both the attic and the cellar. Those are called tight winder stairs. Does anyone have any questions before we move on?
I once heard a story that Benjamin Robbins killed 400 rattlesnakes. Is that true or just legend?
I believe that legend is true. Benjamin Robbins killed over 400 rattlesnakes while he was preparing to build his stone house. You have been doing your research. Yes, you have a question, young lady.
What do kids do for fun? I don't see any video games.
When the children were old enough, they were expected to help out around the house, but they play games, just like you. If you want to learn more about that, check out our summer camps. Yes, what is your question?
Where'd they go to school? Is Cline really that old?
No, in the 1800s, Centerville had 9 one-room schoolhouses. In 1924, all the one-room schoolhouses were consolidated into Washington Township. Can you believe that each schoolhouse room had students through grade 1 and 8 all in one classroom with one teacher? Great questions. I can tell you all love living in warm and cheery Centerville. Now let's continue our tour.
The final stop on our tour is the Ashel Wright House and School Museum down next to Grader's Ice Cream. As you likely know, Ashel Wright was the great uncle of world-famous Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright. Unlike Ben Robbins, Dr. John Holt, and Ben Archer, Ashel was born in New Hampshire, not New Jersey. He came to Centerville in 1814, and his home is the oldest stone house in Centerville. I think it's time to move on and get back to school.
The next day, the big assignment was due. It was time for students to share what they learned by exploring the past. I wonder what they have to share.
Perhaps they learned some life lessons by talking with their families.
Let's see what they discovered.
Good morning, boys and girls. Please pass in your homework. Who would like to share something they learned from their interview?
I learned that simpler is better.
I learned the best things in life are free.
I learned about my great-great-grandparents.
I learned that life is better when you have an open mind.
I learned that history is not just dates and names.
I learned that our relatives have been here for over 200 years.
I learned that the whole world is a classroom and that we should never stop learning. I learned that it's better to give than receive.
I learned that if we work together, we can make the world a better place. I learned about Benjamin Robbins.
I learned about my family tree.
I learned how time became known as Centerville.
I learned that my family immigrated from Ireland in the 1800s. I even learned some Irish dance.
Yes, what did you learn, Ben?
I learned that we can change the world by caring for others, and there's lots of stuff that money cannot buy.
Wow, that reminds me of a quote a great writer once said. The past is only a prologue. We can learn a great deal from our past generations. And I can tell you, you are doing just that. Great job, boys and girls. I am so proud of you.
While the class finds its way back over to the risers, I just want to take a second. If I seem a little teary-eyed, it's just because this journey has been absolutely amazing, and there were so many miraculous things that happened during that performance that it just blows my mind. So thank you, students. Can we have another hand for this incredible third grade class? Just like Demi in that last scene, I am so very proud of you. Can we real quick, cast members, can you raise your hand and everyone smile? And let's have a hand for our cast. Take it back. Let's have a hand for our chorus members. And our percussion members, stand up. How about our percussionists? I also want to take a second and thank Mrs. Barker and all the third grade teachers. This has been the maiden voyage, the debut of our wonderful new sound system, which about an hour ago I was like, oh no, the Bluetooth isn't connecting. What's going to happen? and miracles happen all the time. So can we do one quick reprise of Cline Kids Care for you all? That sound good? Okay. And if you're a Cline alumni, please join us. Please join us.
Some
Besides the help of our wonderful teachers, there's a thanks that needs to go out to Centerville Washington History. There's a young lady in the house who is the education coordinator for Centerville Washington History, who has been instrumental in helping me in so many ways. And this lovely young lady is Mrs. Burns. So Mrs. Burns has her 21st birthday on Monday, and I've never done this before, but third graders, can you give me a happy birthday, Mrs. Burns? And Mrs. Burns, please don't be mad at me. And this one's for you. All right, here we go, guys. Go down to 3, and here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Burns. Happy birthday to you.
I'm going to hear it for that one later. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Burns. Please, we are going to dismiss from the stage and the risers, and we can meet students in the gym. If you'd like to come and get a photo op with Bathsheba, the mannequin, or any props on stage, you're welcome to it. We just ask that students always use the stairs. And thank you, parents, for sharing your wonderful students with us here at Cline, and have a wonderful spring break. And peace, love, and joy.